Hello there, my dear. I am so glad today to come to you with a message from the Earthcraft Oracle. My heart was pulled to the Earthcraft Oracle. So there's I feel like there's a message from the Earth for you in regards to the greater channel message for the week. And remember, I will link here to the other um readings for this week, but the channel message and the title of it was, right, like community is the lifeblood of everything. And when I looked at my decks, this is the one that called most out to me, I think because it's very rooted in the earth and connecting with the earth. And so they're saying I'm just meant to pick one card. They're saying maybe one card that's a gift. And I'm supposed to read out loud that card, one of the cards. And then see, they're saying maybe today I don't do a guided journey, but that instead, through this brief video, you get a sense intuitively of how you're meant to go connect with the earth. And that I don't need to give that to you, but that you're going to be called to it. And I want to remind you before like you go on to another video or you think like connecting with the earth is like this grandiose thing. And it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it could just be taking a moment in a park and giving that part gratitude for what it provides you in the sense of a day, right? And so I'm going to keep it real simple in the beginning because I have no idea what actually is going to come through. But my human self was like, let me catch you before like you are like, oh no, right? That it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be, um, yeah. They're saying it can be very intentional and energetic, more so than like full of, imagining some people out in. Hmm, okay. Okay. They're saying I have to share one card. And the message from that card, drought. Mm. They're saying the number 8 called out to me for some reason. So I'm going to read this out loud. The drought card in a reading may indicate feelings of hopelessness, desperation, and victimhood. That hurt hard when I read that. Um, hardship after hardship can cloud judgment and trick you into believing support is not available to you or that you are on the wrong path. You feel like the rain will never fall again, and the parched earth beneath your feet will turn to dust. The more you see through this lens, the deeper the feelings of helplessness may seep until you are so immersed in despair that it seems all is lost. Know that support is closer than it seems. Even in the harshness of the desert, you can find water buried beneath dry riverbeds or stored inside of a cactus. You may have to dig a little deeper or search in unexpected places, but don't give up hope and don't be afraid to ask for help, especially from Mother Earth. There is still time to turn your situation around. Mm. Okay, so they're inviting me not to share what the ritual was in here because it's quite in depth. Um, Using rose petals and water, and they're saying some of you want to keep it simpler, and that can be okay too. They're saying, and I can give you a summary of what this is like, um, is you add salt to a pot of water and let it boil. Um, And then they're saying, uh, this is like a bath. Yeah, this is quite an in-depth ritual. They're saying it may not work that way for you, but what they want me to communicate that is at the core of that ritual is that it happened in a bath. And so this is a reminder to all of you, like let's stretch like the brain and enter into our wonderful soul-aligned human self, because I think we're both and at the same time. And they're like, so for some of y'all, it's gonna be getting in that bath and doing something special that connects you to like, because the first channel message was like, if community is a lifeblood of everything, then connection is the water that nourishes and cleanses that community. And so, of course, as the guides always do, they're connecting it all. Right now, they're saying you're in a drought. You're all up in your victimhood stuff because that community meant a lot to you in your heart. They're like, show them their heart, touch your heart. They're like, feel it, just feel it. Feel all like the hopes and the dreams that you had for what you wanted that community to be or for what it held at one time. And then you gotta release it. And that's part of what this creating a ritual for you will do is help you release it so that you can gather your ability to connect again, either with that community or decide how you want to be in connection with another community that better suits you. And if you're wondering about all that too, you can check out my previous Oracle card reading. Because in there, I really talk about like what it means to say no and what the truth and the reality is of how we're always all in community with one another. Another big thing they want me to hand out here is that hardship after hardship can cloud judgment, and it can trick you into believing support is not available or that you're on the wrong path. And that's what they're saying, like you're not on the wrong path. If you're here, it's because connection with other humans always brings up something to be healed within us. Even if that healing is just like OMG, pure joy. Right? Because they had me say that and they were like, you remember your nieces? I was like, my nieces don't feel like anything comes up to. They're like, "Psh, get out of here. How much healing have you done? Because you get to be an aunt to these tiny beings who look up to you, who you like. There's a deep sense of healing. There's like even like father lineage healing I've done because I've watched my brother be a father in ways that I never understood because in our culture, fathers have a very interesting relationship. And it was beautiful to watch him father and continue to father his girls. And so I want to show you that that healing is not always one that comes through like this. Like, because people are like, oh, healing. Like, oh my goodness, it's so dark down there. It's like, nah, yo, sometimes that shit is freaking amazing. It hurts, right? But that there is healing found in all our relationships. And that's why you might be, because there's so many hardships, so many hardships. You haven't felt the joy and the connection. They're saying like you've missed that as part of the community. And now you've just made what you're struggling with in regards to the community the only story in your mind about that community when it's not true. They're like, take a step back. They're like, this is a three-step process, simple. Write down what is it that led you to join that community, be a part of it. What is your heart was seeking, your mind, your soul was desiring? How did that community fulfill it? And then the question is like, when did it go off the rails for you? When did it go off? Like what, look at the timeline of your life, look at what unfolded, and when did it fall off? And then the new question is like, what do you want the new connection to that community to look like and the people within it? And they're reminding me like some of you like examples. So like I'm part of a sorority. Initially, I just wanted sisters. I grew up with younger brothers. And I wanted to be with women in college. That made me feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I'm excited about it. And then they saw me and they fulfilled something in me that like even my own family couldn't because they just wouldn't always see me. And my journey and my sorority is a lot about like me um taking on roles of leadership and learning how to facilitate things, even when I don't think I can do it. They had a level of belief in me that was just so beautiful. It was a mirror that I needed at that time. And so they healed something in me from even the mother lineage side, right? That just wasn't there, right? Uh, and when did it change? It changed for me when I stopped taking on those leadership roles. It just did. I was like, well, what does it look like now if I'm not just a leader, always guiding people and always being of service? Like, then what is the point of this community in my life, right? And then the last one is the one I'm still answering. But for now, I keep in meaningful contact with quite a few members that I love who will always be a part of my life. And to me, that feels like enough, um, for now. But there's still moments where I'm like, oh, I desire to be with them. There's a part of my heart that loves to be part of a movement that is here to kick the patriarchy's ass. Um, and so I feel that, right? So I give you that example so that you can move through it and be like, just do that quick writing exercise and don't sit here and make it the end of the world. And they're like, some of you may have to return at different times to this writing because you don't have the ability right now to be that honest with yourself. And that's okay. Just like write down the prompts and go back to it. They're saying, like, do that. And then they're like, some of you need to do that work with somebody. Some of you are like, not as, I mean, I did that work with you right now, but I've been doing it for a few decades. But I had a lot of therapy back in the day, coaching now. Like, there's like a level of whatever. Like, some of you will get to that a lot faster than others. And if you can't get to it that quickly, that just means you need somebody else's outside perspective and don't judge yourself for that. Go find it. They're saying so like that's step one. Like just write that shit down and get it out of you. Then they're saying, be honest with the loss. Like, what is it that you really wanted from that community that you feel like you have to grieve and let go so that the new part of whatever you're supposed to be a part of for that community arrives for you? Because that's the hardest part. Something has shifted, and you have to acknowledge that for yourself in order to try to move forward at all, right? Oh, and they're saying like sometimes that shouldn't be done alone. Some of you need to cry it out. You do that for a little while. Some of you just need somebody to hold you as you do that. Some of you, they're like, some of you need some books because sometimes books for you come through healing, whether nonfiction or fiction. Like they're saying, like in my heart, I was helping a client the other day. I said, sometimes healing for me just comes in the reading of a good fictional work where I see a girl who's so much like me that it breaks my heart open to a level of kindness and compassion and grace for myself that is not possible. The same happens in just healing my connection with my mother. Sometimes I got to read books to see my story from the way someone else has seen it, for me to have kindness and compassion and grace for someone that I have difficulty with, right? And so for some of you, that'll be the second part. Figure out how you can gather that for yourself. Are there people? Are there books? Are there activities? They're showing me some people doing yoga, right? Are there practices that always bring you back to that? They're showing me some people who meditate. So figure out and intuitively, like, allow yourself to be guided there. And then they say the third thing they're asking you to do is do a practice of connecting with nature. And that's why they wanted me to read this from the book, is for you to see, like, this card is hard. Like, this is the work, right? All the work that I've been talking about in the other two videos, like, this is part of the work, is the first step that you could take are the couple of things I've given you. And it's like being in the desert because you feel like you're alone. When you're questioning your role and your function and your relationship to others in a community, it feels like you're all alone. And so acknowledge that. And then bring in the help because you ain't alone, right? That's the reminder of the card. This is the last card. Ooh, darkness. Yeah. And they're reminding me to tell you that when it's the darkest is actually where you'll see the light. Like you have to get used to being in the darkness of the unknown. Like that's why the first two steps are so damn hard, right? Like actually writing it down, getting real with yourself, seeing all those things, and then actually being with the idea of what you're grieving and what you're losing as you're coming to terms with whatever is coming up in relationship to that community requires you to like be in darkness for a while in the unknown. Because all of us want to run to like, oh, we're just going to cut off the community. Oh, we're just going to like remove ourselves. Oh, we're going to do less. Or we're going to say no. Oh, we're going to say yes. And we just like think that that's it. But like the outcome of your healing cannot be determined before you move through the healing. And so you're going to sit in the darkness for a while. And they're saying there's something in here. Oh, they said read the self-reflection practice. This might be helpful for some of you. So use the self-reflection practice to gently face the things you hold in deep, dark spaces within. To bring these lies and hidden emotions forward, you must acknowledge them, confront them, and release them. When the truth is right in front of you, there is no hiding from it. Sit in front of a mirror, silently gaze into the depths of your eyes, into your soul, and try not to look away as you allow your reflection to speak to you. Take a deep breath and either remain there quietly, looking into your eyes for 10 minutes, or begin to ask yourself questions. Allow a pause after each question. Allow a pause after each question to give yourself time to answer honestly and fully. Begin with a question like, why do I want the things I say I want? Are these desires aligned with me, or is there another reason? Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so that's sort of, they're saying like it could be a 3 or 4 step process. You can do that self-reflection practice as you're in the darkness, trying to understand all those things that you might have journaled on or reflected on. And then they want you to complete this journey with a connection to nature and the earth, right? And so when I read the first card, the ritual that came through was her in the bathtub, right? And there being rose petals there. And so it's a reminder to you that your connection with the earth can be the connection with any element that reminds you of where you live and why you love living here, right? Um, and they're reminding me to tell you it's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's just not complicated. You could go get in the bath and not have anything and intentionally sit there in deep gratitude and send love and care to the waters that you have loved and cared for and enjoyed throughout your life. They're like, it can be that simple. Do not complicate it. If you want to make it special, they're like, you can consider the places in nature or on the earth that you communed with those community members. If it feels good enough to be there, to do that. If it doesn't, then, trust that for yourself. Um, and they're saying that it might be helpful to sit in that place where you might have communed with them, to do part of the writing exercise too. And they're saying like nature is like this beautiful ivy that can be moved through this whole entire process, right? You can do this writing and reflection in nature or in conjunction with particular earth-related elements that speak to you, right? They're like you can pick up a rock and you can hold it, right? And you can send deep love and gratitude for all of that around you. They're like you can touch a tree and you can smile, you can hug a tree. Um, they're saying don't overcomplicate the shit because then that takes away like the actual. They're saying like the love and the simplicity of it. Once you overcomplicate it, you're like all up in your head. And they're like, for those of you who love connecting with the energetic and the spiritual, I just ask um that element, that part of nature, what it desires from you, if you want to be in service to it. Because we all imagine they're gonna be asking for a whole lot. And sometimes they just want to be like us, they just want to be acknowledged. They just want to be revered. And sometimes our conscious attention will be enough. And for some of us, like who are creatives, it could just be like, write me a love poem about my leaves. I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that. Let me tell, right? Like, I want you to tap into all these facets of your being because in order to like heal this connection with community, you have to enter another community, and they're inviting you into communion with the earth in order to do that in a really simple way. And they're like, some of you already live around spaces in which nature gives you a lot, and you kind of forget that, right? All the time. Right now, you all see like some trees. Clearly, the houses, I live in a building. But there's a tree outside my balcony door that I love. I'll give her flowers. I'll write poetry to her. I mean, it is just, you know. And then there's a park that I go to nearby that I love. And sometimes I just walk and I give love and reverence as I walk. So, sometimes we all imagine like it needs to be things. And sometimes in the beginning it could just be loving attention and intention because it will grow the more you do it. So I hope that was helpful. A little different than our previous channeled sessions where I like maybe move you through a meditation. But just to show you, this is like the range of ways that I can support you. If it feels right and true for you, you're welcome to sign up to work with me. Because this was just created and channeled based on the collective and based on the readings that I've done with all of you. But often, like, I love doing this with clients based on like what their gifts and what their talents are and what their hearts are calling to them. And I just let you decide what that is. And we go into energy space to see what it is and feel what it is for you. And then when we come out, like you have a sense of what that is for you. And I did nothing but hold the space, call in the guides to give you the support to be able to do that. And then you get to go put it into action in the world. And I get to witness you and celebrate you. So even if we don't work together, but you move through this process on this video, or you found it supportive to just like be activated into a different way of doing things and healing things, then let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you in the next video. And if you're interested in the channeled message that this originates from, I will link to it uh, below or somewhere on this video so that you can go check it out. And I'll see you in the next one.